You want I comment the last 2 laps?
Mirando del destro.
Sì, ma non inizio.
Spanish or Italian.
In English.
Ah sì? Ok.
Ok?
Okay.
Inizio?
So.
So last lap of the 21 Qatar 1, Viñales was already gone. I was expecting to follow him, but he was fast and I took too much time to overtake. So then it was a fight for the second place, and yeah, tried to push a lot, and Mir was coming very strong, but I didn't know it too much this, and I tried to do the best lap as possible. But I remember really what I was thinking is keep hoping to maybe catch Viñales, or the most focus I can be on Viñales, maybe the most gap I can get to save the podium and save the second place. So this was the tricky thing of this first race. And when you are in this position, overall for me, that it was a long time that I'm not fighting for the podium. You don't want to do any mistakes, so you are between, you push, but you don't want to do the mistake because the podium is there. But we can see that Mir was really very comfortable into the corners, and it was the problem with the Ducati, and still when the tire goes down, it's pretty difficult to bring the bike into the corner. So you have to wander, slow down, and try that nobody overtake you. But turn 15, Mir did the attack, and when I saw it, knowing that the engine is pretty fast, I was not too much worried. And I think he went a little bit wide in the last corner, but then the power of the Ducati was too fantastic. And luckily, Bagnaia did not attack me, and we did the second and third, and this was just magic. The way we overtook him, that was it's the easiest place, and just thank you Ducati to have this. Nice to remember.
Valencia, last year, great moment. This is his first bike when he won the first championship. It was in 1997, so when I was born, so it's a nice memory also for this. This is a great 250 Aprilia, a bike that every rider that rode this bike in the past said to me that you need to try 250, it's unbelievable, it's a perfect bike, so you have to try. But I never had this opportunity. This is the 500, my dream to try. This is the unbelievable bike. So great, so powerful, so dangerous. But also when I see some replay of that moment, it's great. Also I saw some images of Sentul with the 97, with the Hondas in front, and was incredible. Then first MotoGP, Vale told me that was so strong, faster, competitive more than the others, that it doesn't have to do a lot of fatigue. It doesn't stress so much. It's set for win that World Championship. It was great. Then continue showing us other MotoGP. I remember that in that period was unbelievable how he was stronger compared to the other riders. Package with the Hondas was absolutely incredible. Then he wanted to change with the Yamaha, and at the end he was true. So he made a correct decision, but with a lot of courage. No? Sincerely, I would continue with Honda, because winning races with that in so easy way, you can achieve, you can win a lot of championship in my opinion. But then with Yamaha, he's showing us a lot of other championship. At the end, he won 4 with Yamaha, and it was great. And I think that also this helps for make him the GOAT, the greatest of all time, because he has this strength to change and win with also other manufacturers. So great. And this is the last one, 2009. I was older, so I had a lot of memory of, especially the last 2 years, 2008 and 2009, and was really great. I remember it was a great moment for me when I was coming at the races and see his races. While now this is a good group photo with all the academy riders, his group, his friends. So nice to see this.
This is the moment where I think everyone started to see the raindrops. All race there was actually some raindrops. I remember with 4 laps to go was the moment where like almost a little bit too much rain to not have to worry about it, to just be able to go anymore. You have to start to worry a little bit and make sure that it's dry enough to pull the brakes properly. But yeah, this lap was a little bit of chaos because you could see some guys, especially going into the first left, some of the guys were sitting up or killing a lot of speed, and others were kind of still trying to push it on. So it was difficult to decide how fast you could go at this point. I remember it quite well. It was definitely my highlight of the 2021 season. So at this point, when we came through the third last corner, I saw a couple guys put their hands up. So I had the idea that they were going to pit, and then I thought, geez, you know, there's going to be 3 laps to go, so it's going to be super tight. And you know, I'm not a rider that loves the rain too much, and I thought, okay, I'll take a gamble and see how it pays off. I think a little bit of the key to this race was that with 3 laps to go, the track was still actually mainly dry. Especially the first 2 sectors, I was able to push really, really hard, or at least do a competitive lap time. Whereas after that, 2 laps to go, it became bad, and then the last lap of the race was impossible to stay on the track. While I'm watching the guys pull out of the pits on the wets, it's crazy how far behind they actually were. So to think that it was only 11 seconds in the end, wow, it's a bit crazy actually. You can actually see when their first lap on the wets was still pretty dry. I think, like I said earlier, I think that was the point where I was able to win a lot of time because I was still able to go pretty fast. And yeah, like here, where I'm watching at the moment, coming into the last sector was where I really realized, okay, there's a little bit too much water now and I need to start being a bit more careful. Well, the big thing for me is sometimes it takes me a good 3-4 laps to understand the track conditions well. And with 3 laps to go, I don't know how well that would have maybe gone. Like here, with 2 laps to go, the gap to Marquez, who was the first guy on wet weather tires, was 31 seconds. So to think I lost 20 seconds in just more than a lap from there is crazy. Thank God the race wasn't an extra lap. To be honest, they might have. I just didn't really notice if they did. For me, it was clear what I had to do. If I took the gamble and stayed out, I had to make it to the end because coming in would have just been a complete risk for nothing and wasting a whole lot of time. Looking back, it's actually crazy how I could still ride quite quickly, the 2 laps to go. But then it was more the lap after that was impossible. The last lap already going into turn 1, I thought, wow, if I finish this race, I'm going to be surprised because it was completely ice. There I was already cutting back from the long lap penalty because I went straight because there was a moment where the brakes cooled off completely, and when you had no temperature in the carbon brakes, you cannot stop. So it made it really, really difficult for me to judge where I needed to pull the brake. But when you're out in front and you're winning the race, you don't want to do anything to jeopardize your opportunity there. And even though it was a little bit sketchy, you have to try your absolute best. And yeah, you know, I was having a really big fight with myself, whether to push harder or just to try and bring it home. The big thing was I didn't know what tires the guy behind me was on. I don't know if they'd caught up yet. It was these two left-handers that on the last lap were completely ice. Like it was, I felt like just touching the throttle wasn't doing anything because there was so much spin that I was barely gaining any speed from corner to corner. It felt like I was just rolling. It was impossible to actually accelerate. Well, luckily I had a big gap because with all the guys flying past on wets, it was crazy. Crossing the line was a special moment. I didn't quite understand if I'd won or not because I didn't know if there was maybe something I missed or, you know, there was such chaos going on in the race. And when I looked up at the board on the right-hand side and I understood that, okay, I'd won my first Grand Prix of the year, I was extremely happy. And to have done it in a place, well, Red Bull and KTM's home Grand Prix was extra special. You know, it was something that was on my bucket list because I'd done it in Moto2 and it was such a special feeling to win in front of the bosses and all the big shots were there, obviously. So it was an amazing feeling and a day I'll never forget. Sometimes you have a moment where things work out for you, and Austria was one of them.
Brad Binder wins in KTM's backyard on slicks in the wet.
So Brno 2012, we were the fastest ones, Danny and myself. All the race trying to escape from each other, but we couldn't. We arrived into the last lap. I overtook him by surprise in the middle of the track, but in the last straight uphill, Danny was very clever and his bike had a little bit more power. He overtook me on this straight. He took the better line and I couldn't avoid him to overtake me. I tried by outside in the previous corner to the last one, but he had the best line. Couldn't overtook him back. Assen 2018, amazing track. I remember I started by third row, but I made an amazing start and I stayed already in the third position from the first corner. In just 3 or 4 corners I was already in first position and I managed to take profit of my acceleration and power of Ducati and hard braking to avoid fastest rider than me that overtakes me. So I could stay in first position even with worse pace for so long. Finally, when the tires start to drop, some riders start to overtake me like Marquez, Viñales. I overtook them back, but finally I make some mistakes and 7 laps to the end, I start losing positions. But I remember this race for one of the most funniest races for the spectators to watch, for sure. I don't know, 7, 8 riders with equal competitiveness, equal speed. Suzuki, Yamaha, Honda, Ducati fighting so closely, especially the 90% of the race. I think one of the races with more overtakings, Marder have a huge moment, almost crashed. Crazy race. Well, Qatar 2019, I wasn't in the first group because I was with the Honda making my debut. It's beautiful to see a race with such a huge group fighting 45 minutes on the night. It's very special, only happens in Qatar. Marquez and Dovizioso, the strongest ones, and as in the previous year, both fighting till the last corner for the victory and similar finish. Marquez trying till the end, trying everything to beat Andrea, but Andrea always took advantage by taking profit of Marquez going wide and overtaking him back by the inside to exit the last corner in first position and avoiding Mark with a slower bike overtook him by speed in the finish line. Well, Mugello 2016. Remember arriving in Mugello after winning in Le Mans. So Mugello probably my favorite track, but Marquez, as always, he tries his best to be competitive in every track, so always is there, you know that he's gonna be there. I had to fight with Mark till the last lap because I couldn't escape. He also tried to escape and he couldn't, so a typical Lorenzo Marquez fighting that this time, surprisingly, I took the best part, winning the race when nobody expected. Montmeló 2014, I started that race in first position. I tried to pull away a gap, but couldn't escape from all these three, Mark, Danny and Valentino. And little by little, they recovered, they overtook me, and they start fighting for that victory with myself a little bit behind. I remember, as always, Mark very brave, Valentino was there fighting with the two Honda. And I remember that race that Danny was very brave, very strong, and he wanted to beat, finally, Mark. They arrived into the last lap, all these three amazing riders, and Danny, I remember that he tries in the last sector of the track to make a crazy move when there was no space. Danny's front wheel touched the rear wheel from Mark, and they almost crashed, so he lost some meters and Mark won the race. But also a lot of overtakings, and there was a nice fight between these three. Austria 2020, they were overtaking each other, but the problem for them is that they disturb each other give a opportunity to Oliveira. He didn't have to do nothing, just wait till them get out of the track to take profit of the opportunity and win unexpectedly his first win in MotoGP. It was crazy. Nobody expected that Oliveira won the race. 1 year before, still in Austria, Dovizioso and Marc fighting each other, both with completely different tools, completely different bikes. Normally, Spielberg is a Ducati track, but Marc somehow was always there each year, fighting with a less competitive bike. But with his enormous talent, he could do it. And yes, you know, Marc is a very hard breaker, but Dovizioso too, and also Ducati is stronger on the braking, so it was titan fighting. Normally, it's Marc who tried the last move, no? The last overtaking, but this time was Dovi. Aragon 2015, I remember I go away from the beginning. Was the race of the shark. That I made this shark celebration at the end of the race. And behind me, big fight. Pedrosa Valentino, till the last corner. Pedrosa again very brave, as Montmeló 2014. With the Yamaha, you have to open more the line to don't lose time on the corner. The Honda, you can make the corner going more into the inside. You don't need so many meters. So this for sure is not the best for a Yamaha rider. But Valentino was a master of braking, so always fighting with him. Even if you have a different bike, it's always very difficult. And I had to thank Danny because could be this a big help, no, for the final result that I became champion, because without these points probably I wouldn't won the championship. Phillip Island 2015, some races later after Aragon, we arrived into the Australian circuit, one of the most beautiful circuits around the planet. So beautiful, close to the sea. It's always nice to race there, but also very narrow track, very fast, quite dangerous. I could say for myself because I lose a little piece of finger. 2011, we were very equal, no, for riders. So difficult to beat Iannone because he knows that he's very good on fighting and he take profit of it. So even for Marc and Valentino, they one of the best fighting riders, was difficult that day with Iannone. I always more or less stay in front of them, not a huge gap, but half second, even 1 second sometimes. And I could be a little bit more calm than them, that they were overtaking each other almost every corner. Motegi 2017, a rain race. Ducati has always a lot of traction on the rain. They were superior, I remember, we were very good on the rain. But Marc also is a rain master and it's very difficult to let behind Marc. So even if they try, nobody could escape. They arrived into the last lap all together. But Dovizioso was very clever. He took the best place in that final heartbreaking. He took the first position. Marc tried in a desperate way to overtook him back in the last chicane, but went wide and Dovi was back on the first place and won the race.
Dovizioso has done it here in Japan!
Marc here was extremely very fast, but the braking in the first corner was very competitive. And looking at the race was like that. Marc in the last part of the race was with a bit more grip than us, but was losing more time in the braking, so the balance was okay. And I think also that in Aragon is easier to be in front than in the rear, because the attack you can cross the line and you can be very competitive. I was scared about turn 12 here in Aragon because Marc always was trying to overtake there, but I was knowing that if he was trying to overtake there, he was going wide. So it was in Italian lasso nella manica. He was always trying here, but not easy to overtake here. Then for sure the Ducati power was helping me. And also I was scared about last corner because normally Honda was very fast there, but we improved a lot last year. 2 laps to go, he was trying again in turn 4 from a bit far, so it was more wide. Not bad like a first victory, for sure. Again, here. Turn 15. I was knowing that he was trying. And also Honda was very fast in the first sector. I was trying to do better, but it was very difficult. I think this was the 6th attempt to overtake. Yeah, I was knowing that he was trying it. I tried to brake hard to don't leave him space. And he was wide. The problem here was that I was thinking that he was behind, and I just pushed it like all the other laps, but was finished because he was he had touched the green, so it was enough, and I win.
It's Pecca Bagnaia's race.
Hey guys, my name's Brad Binder. If you liked this video, give us a big like and don't forget to subscribe.